First up, we've got Vicario. We both gave him 6s. I mean, in terms of saves he had to make, I can remember one from Wirtz, which was a decent save. He had made one from Van Dijk, I think, which was an easy save. One big bugbear, I guess, again, his kicking, not great yesterday. There was one throw he threw to Porro when he had a man on him, and Porro ended up giving it away. Why are you doing that? There was a few times he kicked the ball out of play. But in general, I didn't have too many complaints.
You mentioned his kicking. There was that one bad short pass he did. But what I did like about Vicario is he just hoofed it. I would rather, said it away at Frankfurt, I would rather Vicario hoofs it out of touch or into their half and it's just there, rather than this playing about out the back, which he is not comfortable with. I don't know why we did
it with 10 men at one point. In the second half, we were playing around the back and we nearly...
Exactly. I don't know. That's been a thing that Spurs have done with the last few managers, but we did it with Lloris, and Lloris was not comfortable doing it. Vicario's not comfortable doing it. He had that one save to make, and he actually did palm it out of danger's way, because there was, I can't remember who it was running in after that shot, and he got it out of the danger zone, so it was a good save. But I think I prefer the Vicario just launching it, whether it goes out of play or to a Liverpool player in their half. But there was a couple of, like I said, that throw and that one pass to Porro was a bit dicey. But apart from that, he really had nothing to do, did he?
Yeah, and that's credit to our defence for basically not giving him too much to do.
Yep.
I also thought at the end of the game, when we were down to 9 men, he did some good sweeping, made sure he was basically like an extra defender at a point, so that was good. Next up, Pedro Porro also gave him 6s. Some really good there. I thought his energy was a lot better. You can tell when Porro's going to have a good game when you see his energy levels. When his energy levels are waning, all of a sudden he's a bit liability, he's a bit sloppy. But when his energy levels are high, usually he has a good game, and maybe that whole week off helped him, because when he's playing 2 games a week, he struggles. I thought his passing was a bit loose, though. Wasn't great. Some good set pieces and stuff, but I thought his passing and general play wasn't great, even 11v11. But I thought defensively was really good, and I thought was getting up, helping Kudus early doors quite well. And I thought when we went down to 10 men, he really stopped for the team, so pretty good.
You know what? When you said about playing 2 games a week, I can agree with that with all the players. But when it comes to Pedro Porro, it's not 2 games a week for this guy. This guy, you think about all the rotation this squad has had over the years that he's been here, this man is overplayed so much. And people question when he has the odd off game and everything. He is overplayed, and he is just, he's kind of like Højbjerg, where he's just always dependable, always fit. This man is, we use and abuse him.
Yeah.
We really do. Like, there's no option to rest him, especially with Destiny out, unless you play Davies, which we're not going to do at left back. He put in a wonderful ball that fizzed in when Kudus set him free. I think nutmeg Spence when he tried to strike on goal. He got more and more involved. I would have liked his passing to be a little bit better, but I will never, ever, ever question Porro's commitment and fight towards the cause, because he is always available, always dependable, and I think he had an okay game yesterday.
Next up, Cuti Romero. I gave him a 3. Brian gives him a 4. Obviously, so much that went wrong for him in the end. I actually thought he was having a great game. The thing before the first goal, I thought he was passing brilliantly. I thought he was defending brilliantly. I thought he was having a great game, but it all just unravelled. It started with the first goal. Brainless moment from him on his left foot, playing essentially a 30-yard through ball down the centre of the pitch on your weaker foot was suicidal, and it cost us massively. It's a brainless decision. He then he does get fouled for the second goal, but could he do better there? Maybe. Is he faultless? It is a foul, but could he be stronger? You can make that argument. He then gets booked for being too heated, for arguing the referee, albeit he did make a mistake in my opinion, and then gets himself sent off in a moment where we were just building momentum yet again and just getting a foothold in the game, and maybe looking like could get back into it with a man less. He gets sent off just for such a petulant thing on Konate. So it's frustrating because I thought in general play, he actually had a good game. Like when you're just judging him on an open play, how we play in those moments. But when there's that many things going against you in a game, it's going to cost you.
It's the exact reason I gave him a 4 for what you said at the beginning. Until the 2 reckless moments, I thought he was having a good game. But then 2 reckless moments have cost him and the team not only this game, but obviously the next game with the suspension. So the reason I gave him the 4 was because I do think he was playing well before those 2 calamities, let's say. So 4 for me.
Next up, Micky van der Ven. I gave him a 7, Brian gave him a 6. Pretty good, I thought, especially late in the game when we were down to 10 men. He pretty much played the Ange role, back by himself at the back. Romero goes walkabouts, goes up front, which, by the way, is becoming a theme now. We're being so bad in games that he's having to go regularly up front. Just put him, maybe we should start him up front. But anyway, back on Van der Ven. I thought he did quite well. He did pretty well sweeping up and making sure we didn't concede any goals in a period where we were having to push forward and having to commit a lot of risk. I think he did a really good job at that moment. And I think in general had a pretty good game. Yeah,
maybe I should have given him a 7. Maybe I should have, but he just seemed quiet for me in the first half. Obviously, him being quiet defensively is a good thing because he's not having to do much, but I just wanted to see a little bit more from him going forward, especially when we went down to 10. But yeah, maybe I should have given him a 7. Maybe that is bad on my part.
Next up, Jed Spence. Both gave him 8. That was a great performance again by Jed, who's, by the way, been very good over the last few games. One of our better players, even against Aston Villa. Not Villa, sorry. Even against Nottingham Forest, when he got taken off, I thought he was one of our better players on that day. So something's happened with him ever since Doggy's gotten injured. He's come back in the team. I feel like maybe he felt... because he obviously started the season in the team, and then a Doggy was playing better than him and getting his spot. I think he's felt like I've got a second opportunity here with this Doggy injury. I'm going to snatch it with both hands. I'm going to make sure I'm doing everything I can to stay in the team. I thought it was brilliant. You can see he's in a confident mood. There was that one moment in the first half he does that little trick nutmeg through to pass it to Gray. He was a constant threat down the left-hand side. Should have had a chance on goal, but the referee blows for a foul on Bradley. So unfortunate, in my opinion. That was never a foul. It was a weak thing from the referee. And I think Jed, in general, especially as well, when we went down to 10 men, just a constant option. That's very important in that point in the game where he's getting away from his man off the ball, just making those runs, constantly being an option, getting crosses in. He had a one shot from 30 yards, wasn't a particularly great one, but had a pop, trying to make something happen, and I thought had a really strong performance.
Yeah, he had kind of... Do you remember when we did the watch long for the Brentford game when he just kept going forward? There was a confident... It was, I'd say, a 75% performance of that where he did check in a couple of times, but he was causing his energy and getting down the line, and he was a lot better to attack mind compared to defensively. Sometimes I think his defensive positioning was a little bit questionable, but he was the one burst of energy for me going forward, and he did check in a couple of times, but he was causing chaos a couple of times for the Liverpool defence, and I think he was our best player on the day.
Next up, Rodrigo Bentancur. We both gave him 6s. Pretty solid, and especially under the circumstances, I thought he had a pretty decent showing. Competed well in the middle up against some difficult players in there. Don't think he was overrun too much. I don't think it was a standout, but I thought wasn't like some of his horrendous displays. Yeah,
look, he... Again, one of the good things he does have is his anticipation and reading of the game.
Yes.
And there are a few times where positionally he was fantastic and broke stuff up. But it's when he's done that good part and it's moving on to the next part, driving forward and getting that pass through and breaking the lines, he just was a little bit timid in doing that. And there were a couple of occasions yesterday where I saw him kind of ducking out of challenges, which is not something I associate with Bentancur. He normally will put his body on the line, he'll go in for the tackle. So his anticipation and reading of the game at times was great. But when it came to the bit to do after that, it wasn't at his normal standard.
Next up, Archie Gray. Both gave him 6s. Good performance again under the circumstances. Confident performance. I think I've seen him play better in the middle, but he tried to play forward. He did support the attack.
Yep.
He did a lot of good things. Was pretty solid.
Yeah, no, I agree. Listen, Archie Gray has now had his fourth Premier League start or fifth in a row, especially after getting a lot of the blame for the first goal against Forest. He comes in and does what he needs to do. Could he have been a better performance? Yes, but for one of the youngsters, and obviously at the start of the game, people were, why Gray, why Bergvall, why the youngsters? I don't think he did anything wrong, I don't think. Could he have done more? Yeah. But did he do anything to harm the team or do anything of note that cost us dearly? Not at all. So an easy 6 for me.
Next up, Lucas Bergvall. I gave him a 6. Brian gives him a 7. I thought he did play well, and he was definitely physically, just especially when we were down 10 men, bringing us up the pitch, charging forward, adding that energy. I don't know if he was... I don't know about that left wing position for him. I don't know what Frank is doing playing him there. I don't think that's a position that's familiar to him. I don't think he actually played on the left too much in this game. He was very much cutting inside centrally where he's more comfortable. I think he did a lot of good things driving the ball like he usually does. But in terms of with us on the ball and getting us creating stuff, unfortunately didn't do too much from that point of view.
The reason I gave him a 7 is, if we look at this, there was, especially with Simmons going off when he did, if there was one player that was trying to drive the ball forward, if there was one person that was always looking forward to try and get the team going, it was him. Not one of his best games, but I think when we're looking at, who was trying to get that ball forward, who was trying to think front foot, for me, it was Lucas Bergvall.
Yeah, and he was trying to drive us forward for sure. Next up, Javi. Yeah, I gave him a 2. Brian gave him a 3. To be honest, I thought he was having a poor game before the red card. He does commit energy to the team, and I appreciate that. He was just doing so many sloppy passes yesterday. So many passes where it's just a simple pass, like a layoff to a man next to him, and he's just getting it wrong and playing it out of play. There was a lot of sloppiness I felt from Javi, which before the red card was frustrating. I think maybe, part of it was he was trying to make up for some of that sloppy play he was committing, and he obviously got over exuberant with the challenge. For me, I thought the red card was a bit harsh, but he can't really have any complaints. It's just very silly, stupid action from him. And I don't think he can really complain too much, but I do think it was more of a on-field decision and not a clear and obvious error from the referee. So a bit harsh from that point of view, but we're going to be missing him for 3 games now. Yeah,
and there's nothing more I can say about what I felt, and I gave him a 3. And yeah, I basically echo everything you said, and it's just frustrating now because we are lacking a big creative spark in what is going to be a very, very tense period for the football club and the fans and everyone connected with the club in these festive fixtures.
Yeah, we'll see what we do, but maybe Bergvall's going to have to play in that position. Next up, Mohamed Kudus. I give him a 4. Brian gives him a 5. First off, he was okay. Looked confident without doing too much in terms of creation. A couple of good moments, a good switch of play to Porro in that first half was good. Second half really frustrated me, though. Really frustrated me. He was slowing down so many attacks when, you need to exploit the space when you're down to 10 men. You need someone, in theory, he should be the perfect player when you're down to 10 men. Someone who can carry the ball, take on multiple men, and drive you up the pitch. And though every opportunity he had to do that, he just didn't take it, and massively frustrating. So I gave him a 4 in the end, and I thought we looked a bit better when Johnson came on.
Yeah, I agree with the Johnson coming on. I'm after the Nottingham Forest. I've heard a lot of people speaking about Kudus and how sometimes he holds on to the ball too long, or tries to do one more man, or should be passing when he should be running, and vice versa. And away at Nottingham Forest last Sunday, I saw that very up close and personal, especially in the first half where we were attacking the goal that we were behind. And it was more of the same. Yes, listen, there's games where he is fantastic. And let's face it, there's been more games where he's been fantastic that he hasn't. But I think as well, I saw a comment, I can't remember, I said it to you on the way in. I don't know if it was in the comments, like the YouTube comments after yesterday's show, or I saw it on Twitter, and someone said, and people my age or will remember players, right, said he's starting to remind me of Ilya Dimitrescu, where literally it's one move, and people are starting to read whether he's going to try and take you on or do a little trick to get you past. I do think a lot of this is falling on him, especially when Simmons goes off. He is the only creative spark. But there are times where, like you said, he is slowing the game down. And he's the one player, when you get the ball, you're like, if you see it one-on-one and he's got space, you want him to run into that grass and use his trickery, use his strength, and he's slowing it down. And whether that's the lack of confidence, whether it's he hasn't got faith in players getting there to support him, well, whatever it may be, it was just a disappointing performance for him. But like I said, he has done more good than bad, and we can't expect him to consistently deliver the goods. And this is, like I said, with Porro, these players are overplayed. They are overplayed because there is no one there to replace them of quality, and this has been an issue.
Next up, Randal Kolo Muani. I gave him a 4. Brian gives him a 6. Had a good chance, didn't he, at the beginning of the game with that header. Should be doing better there.
Yeah, I don't know why I gave him a 6.
Easy save for Alisson. To be fair, I'm down to 10 men, did okay. He obviously hit the bar with a good moment for him, which he had a run into the box and took on a few players, and his shot deflected and nearly landed into the net. But I did think he was actually poor, to be honest, during the game. I actually think there was a few moments where he wasn't busting a gut to get into the box when he should have been. And I actually think we looked a lot better when Richie came on, and I think he played better. So, yeah, I gave him a 4.
Yeah, sorry, Sabby, I was going to put him as a 5, not a 6. Muani, I have this discussion, I don't know if he's still in the chat with Craig, very, very dear friend of mine all the time. We brought him in as a striker because of Solanke. I think the best work we've seen from him is on the left, where I have really enjoyed seeing him take on his man, do what he's done, and most importantly, his teamwork and willing to get back for the team and do things. That being said, we brought him to score goals, and he's not scoring them. Now, wherever people stand on Muani to be the 9 or Richarlison to be the 9, after a poor performance by Richie at Notts Forest, but let's face it, I could say pretty much everyone was poor against Forest. Loads of people were, why you got to drop Richie, So then Frank does drop Richie and puts Muani, which means there's got to be variation around the team. He should have done better with that header. He had that opportunity with the deflection that hit the bar. But we've brought a player in to score goals because I think I found the reason for Solanke's injury. He's not injured, he's just allergic to grass. Whenever he gets back on the grass, there's a setback. So I think he might have hay fever all year round and just be allergic to grass. Bring in the AstroTurf, we're getting back. But yeah, it's just, this is another problem we've got. We've bought a striker to score goals or create, and he's doing neither. He's doing neither. And whether that's a Frank thing, whether that's a player thing, you're bringing in players to do the job and they're not doing it.
Yeah, we need to see more from him. Next up, Brennan Johnson. I think I didn't I change to a 6? Anyway, I thought he was all right. I gave him a 6. Brian also gives him a 6. I thought it was a decent cameo from Brennan. I think he came on, added a bit more counter-attacking threat, to be honest. And I think one real good thing he did was he was helping out the team late on when we were...
Make one last ditch.
Yeah, we made a few last ditch tackles when we're down to 9 men and 10 men, and we've got to commit risk and we've got to leave spaces at the back. He was one getting back and putting himself on the line. Played one decent ball across the face of goal as well, which no one was there ready and waiting to put in. He also was there supporting Muani when Muani hit the bar. He could have been slipped in there from Muani potentially. So I thought he was decent. He got a nice ovation when he came on as well. I do wonder whether that's fans saying don't go or whether that's...
Oh yeah, Chris Armstrong with the bomber.
Yeah, Chris Armstrong saying he's on his way to Palace. So we'll see what happens with him. But yeah, decent cameo.
Yeah, Joe, this is, I mean, you see it in the chats all the time. You see it in the chats now. We've got people that, it's your opinion, that have agendas both pro and con for players. As people will say, I have for Frank, and maybe I do. Probably I do have a Frank agenda. Certainly had a Levy agenda. But I think when it comes to Brennan Johnson, he did well when he came on. He, first of all, kept the width to stretch Liverpool. Like I said, he got involved. I still believe he should have had a penalty for making that dart in when he was pushed. He did do a lot of tracking back, which is one of the things he's been questioned upon, hasn't it? And yes, if he's not scoring goals, you say, what did he offer? But I do think he brought another dimension to the team and certainly had more of an impact than Kudus did.
Yeah. Next up, Joao Palhinha. I gave him a 5. Brian gives him a 6. Nothing too much to shout about. I think he just gave us a bit of extra legs in a moment where we were obviously stretched to our limits with the amount of players we had on the pitch. So I think he did okay. Nothing too great, but nothing too bad either.
To tell you the truth, I actually think, and I can't remember if I said it during the watch-along, as soon as we went down to 10 men at the start of the second half, Palhinha should have come on.
That's what I said, yeah.
Should have come on, whether it be for Bentancur or lose someone up top, just for that solidity. And you know what? If Romero makes that pass, maybe Palhinha's there to clean it up because of his anticipation, and that's how he reads the game. I go 1 up on the 5 you gave him just because he was involved in the goal.
Good point. He did well. He was to keep that alive.
He kept it alive. He was involved in the goal, and that's the only reason I gave him a point out. But do you know what? Another thing that I'll pull Frank up on, I'm mystified to why he's not starting Palhinha. I am mystified. I'm mystified. I don't know if there's something in the contract with Bayern that if he plays a certain amount of games, we get him for this much. I don't know if it's he wants to give away with this ultra defensive and thinks Palhinha can be more expansive. But there's certain games where Palhinha needs to start, and I thought yesterday was one of them. And for someone that was doing so well, read it. And do you know what? We talk about the conceding more goals. It's been whilst Palhinha has not been in the team or starting, which is one thing we brought him in for, to give him that insurance policy in front of the defence to shore things up. And without him, we're losing that. Whether we're losing his ball-playing attributes, but right now that's not the issue. The issue is conceding goals. And especially down to 10 men or at half-time, I would have loved to have seen Palhinha came on. But like I said, a 6 because he kept the ball alive for that goal.
Next up, Wilson Odobert. I gave him a 6. Brian gives him a 5. Bright cameo. Looked threatening. Did flash one across the face of goal as well, which was unlucky. No one was there to turn it home. Linked up quite well, I thought, with Spence on that side when he came on as well. Was a threat. Yeah, look, it wasn't anything exceptional, but he just looked bright.
Yeah, I will say Odobert, there are a couple of times where, again, he did a little kind of Kudus where he just slowed it down a couple of times. The guy's got the ability and directness to get past people. Maybe it's because it was a bigger team in Liverpool and more that he just didn't feel that he had the confidence and faith in himself. But he did come on, and obviously he flashed that cross for Brennan Johnson, which was a good cross. But again, this goes down to we don't know. If you'd sit down here now and say who's Tottenham's number 1 left winger, you wouldn't have a clue what to say, would you? Right now, you might have your personal favourite.
Yeah, but you won't. Frank knows as well.
Yeah, this is the problem. We look at it. We down that left side. We just don't know what we are.
Yeah. Next up, Richarlison. I gave him an 8. Brian gives him a 7. I thought he was brilliant. I thought he might be my man of the match, even though he's on for 10 minutes. I thought he was so good when he came on. I thought his hold-up play was fantastic. I thought he was the only player we were playing the ball to him, and he was taking it down, making it stick, winning free kicks, linking up. There was playing a brilliant ball to Odobert late in the game. He nutmeg ball into the box. He obviously came on and got the goal, causing chaos, not making it easy for the Liverpool defenders to defend set pieces. But by and large, I thought he showed quality actually yesterday, interestingly enough, which we haven't seen enough of. I think he really changed the game. I really did. I was so impressed with him. So fair play to Rishi. I thought he had a great cameo.
I'll tell you what, he did. Let's be honest, he did. It's just about with Richie again. He's another player where it's a performance like that, whether it be a 90-minute performance or a substitution performance, whether it be for 25 or 10 minutes, whatever, or it's non-existent. He took the goal well. I thought he was lucky not to get a yellow card celebrating when he got bit on the back of, and he picked up a yellow card after the full-time whistle, so that could have been a problem. But he did cause problems. Like I said, the highlight here in the watch-along was when they did the replay of that shot when he had 3 defenders around him. He definitely changed the game. Do I think it was that significant? I can see why he gave him an 8, put it this way, but for me it's a 7.
And Thomas Frank, I gave him a 5. Brian gives him a 6. Look, I don't really put it on Thomas Frank, the reason why we lost. Although I don't know why he plays Bergvall on the left wing. I didn't understand that selection. I understood the rest of the selections. I still think we looked stodgy, and I still think we looked hesitant in the early parts of the game, even when we were a bit better than Liverpool at 11v11. We did have that chance. I can't really judge him too much after that. I actually thought, in terms of managing the game with 10 men and 9 men, I think he did all he could, to be honest, and we nearly did get back in the game, so fair enough. And the subs, especially Richie and Brennan, did actually come on and affect the game in a positive way, so I think that's fine. But it's still another loss, and it's still a horrendous league position, and I can't give him too much credit in a game which, look, to be fair, we should have got something out of on the balance of play, but we ended up with another loss, so it's very frustrating.
Yeah, like we said before, yesterday's game for me wasn't on Frank, it was on the players making schoolboy petulant errors. You could see the team were fighting for him. You could see, like I said, the subs had an impact. It's not good enough, but you saw fight from the lads there. That was for the team, for Frank, for the fans. And the subs had an impact. But like I said, for me, this game totally is not on Frank. It's on the 2 players that got them sent off. Who knows what would happen if it had been 11 versus 11.
Yeah.
You never know. I don't think we would have lost that game, if I'm honest. So I can't give him below a 6.
All right, well, that is our player ratings. Let us know in the comments section below your thoughts on the ratings we have given and if you agree or disagree.